Shooting is a pivotal element of 10th edition. So we're going to take some time today to go over what we think are the best options to supplement your wall. So it's time to bring more Dakka to the wall for the boys. We all know that the combat phase is the one phase that we all look forward to as orc players, right? And sometimes it's easy to neglect the shooting phase for some of you particular golf boys or scar boys. But we need to understand that 40K itself is a resource management game in itself, right? Just like in war is about logistics. And one of the things we have access to is the entire phase of shooting. So neglecting it, in most cases, is going to be a bad cause. It's going to be a bad idea, right? Now, I'll be the first to admit that some of you thick squig hide boys out there with your squigs and your feel no pains and your trucks, you'll go out there and say, no, I can run it through. I understand that. There's some exceptions to the rule, right? But in a vast majority of the game of 40K, shooting is important, right? So that being said, even though you're hitting on 5, we do have options for shooting, as well as while we're on the subject of shooting, on how grenades are to be utilized in the shooting phase, right? So we'll be talking about grenades as well. So some of our shooting options and our grenade options, some of the combinations that we're going to be going into, how can they be beneficial for you as an orc player, and about roughly how many points I think you should be adding to your orc list, right? So David, any chance or anything you want to say before we start ranting on the wall?
Yeah, we got our Big Mek Brandon showing up in the chat. He's saying he's painting his last 3 hogs while watching this. Whoa!
Oh, there we go. Go, hog boys.
Artemis Steve here too. Here, guys.
Haha, Artemis Steve. Ooh. Sorry, guys. I don't know if I'm wanting too much. I'm a little pumped up.
Right now. Yeah, we can continue on.
All right, here we go. All right, guys. So, like I said, for orc players, some of you guys making some of these lists with no shooting at all, but between what we've seen when we're going into our Meta Wednesdays and what we've seen when we talk on Discord and other channels and people talk about orcs, a lot of the most powerful orc lists are coming out here with some guns, right, David? Coming out here with some ability to shoot. So that being said, we're going to start with what's just out. Are you going to hold the data sheet up? Not. Okay. We're going to start with the first data sheet that we wanted to talk about. And that's going to not surprise anybody in the flash gitz, right? There, everybody was kind of looking at them in the beginning of the index release and was going, is this real, you guys? Can we really use it? Is this bait? Is this bait? And then Adrian on Tabletop Titans used them, and then he was like, it's bait, they still suck, right? And then everybody was like, no, they really do still suck. But in reality, no, Adrian just had some bad rolls, as he always does. I'm not sure if he had Captain Badrock, right? But that's another thing you might want to do. So you can, when you take a note of this, David, so we can talk about it. But that, so one of the things that people are doing as a whole is they're bringing a 10-man unit, they're sticking them in a truck, they're taking a mech in there, they're putting Captain Badrock in there, and they're driving around the battlefield using it as a mobile gun platform, as you can understand, right, David? As anybody can understand.
That's key for their ability as well, to get that extra attack.
So what you have to do is that when you're the mech, when you pull up his mech, actually pull up the mech data sheet, the mech actually gives an ability where you can give +1 to the vehicle. Therefore, if the flash gitz are in the vehicle and the mech boy buffs the vehicle, and I'll let David read the enhancement ability himself, we'll see what happens. So, David?
Yeah, at the end of your movement phase, you can select one friendly orc vehicle within 3 inches of this model. That vehicle, the part that we're talking about is adding 1 to the hit roll each time it makes an attack.
And what's important is it's at the end of your movement phase, guys. That means after you've disembarked. Therefore, as you look right above, he also has lone operative, which when he's within 3 inches of that said vehicle. Therefore, he's getting out, he's putting on his little scope and binoculars for there, and he's like, all right, guys, shoot through this little targeting squig. Because that's what's happening is everybody's now getting +1 to hit from inside the vehicle because the vehicle is getting +1 to hit, right? I know it doesn't exactly work like that, but it's easier for you guys to understand because they're getting the fact that they're moving around and they're hitting on 5s naturally. They're not going to get heavy and they're in the vehicle, so they're not really going to get any additional abilities that would be on their data sheet, right, as in actual abilities, because when you're in the vehicle, you don't get access to those. So you still want them to be kind of useful before you expose them to be counterfired, right? Now, what happens when you're going to use them again? Well, when you are ready to disembark them, and we can go to Captain Badrock, that's where Captain Badrock and the Flash Gitz ability comes into their own war gear abilities come into play, right? So, David, you want to Captain Badrock's ability for...
Yeah, the flashiest Gitz. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a range attack, you can re-roll the hit roll.
So let's move right over to Flash Gitz with that in mind. Keep it in mind. He's giving them the re-roll to hit. When they disembark, guys, remember, keep in mind, you cannot use your abilities when you're in the vehicle like that, right? The vehicle is pretty much just taking over your guns, and all you get is the vehicle's your guns' abilities themselves. So keep that in mind. You're re-rolling hits. Now, what's important about that is snaz guns have sustained hits 1, meaning just like when we punch, they're the only guns that in regularity that give you +1 explosion hits, right? When you get that, you get an additional hit on there. So you're re-rolling the hit roll, boom, as well as the Flash Gitz ability, and then you can read their war gear ability as well, David. Because remember, you're throttling on the turn they get out, guys. As a whole, as we're looking right here, they're really not that durable. They're about equivalent to a knob, which is a thick boy, which we know thick boy's nice, but a thick boy ain't holding up to a lot of things in the game right now, right? So I like Flash Gitz, and they are thick. They're cool to little 4 attacks in combat. That's pretty awesome. People overlook that a lot. Strength 5 for a melee attacks, right? That's more than your average orc boy, but that's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is their ability when their guns show off crazy and their war gear options. So David, if you want to read that, yep.
All right, gun crazy show offs. Each time a model in this unit targets the closest eligible target with its snaz gun, until the end of the phase, that weapon has an attacks characteristic of 4.
Boom. Remember, re-rolling the hit roll.
Keep with going. The sustain hits 1. That's key right there.
And then you also...
And then you got the ammo run. Once per battle, when this unit is selected to shoot, it can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have lethal hits. So you can punch up with this.
Punching up. You're re-rolling the hit rolls. You're getting more hits, making up for your lack of ballistic skill. Right. And the thing here, guys, is we always talk about as orc players to keep in mind is volume solves problems. Just putting the wound dice in your opponent's hand and saying, here you go. That's what you want to be doing in this game as a whole when you're thinking as an orc player, right? We understand that sometimes we do go into our premium power claws and such, but as a whole, you see a lot of people utilizing other ways to get into combat, getting in with that -1 AP. And you see that's why they love Squig boys as well, because they're -1 AP only, but they come in there with volume. And that's what the Flash Gitz are doing at range. We've been seeing these guys come out, become very prevalent in tournament lists, in casual play. So as a whole, what's the reason? What are we looking at? What are some units that you would think, hey, I really want to use these into, right? One data sheet they really do well into is the Neurothropes, right? Neurothropes are really good at just sniping out their brain las cannon guns. And for you as an orc player to sit there and allow something like that to just shoot at you freely in the open lanes with all your vehicles and not get any clapback for what it's trying to do is unreasonable and not very gawky of you or mawky. You understand? Because you need to be able to put damage on people and get their respect when you're moving around the battlefield, not let them throw screens in front of you off freely at will, even though this isn't great for clearing screens since they are damaged too, right? But if you get some enemy counter charges going on, the truck being able to move quickly, right? Cutting that angle with the 24-inch guns, giving the mech. Remember, you have the mech there. Mech's going to give that truck +1 hit. You're going to be hitting on 4s with these good strength, good damage guns, guys. Remember, it's very easy for us to overlook the damage too because we're hitting on 5s. Do not overlook that, guys. When you have enough dice in your hands, you're solving enough problems. That's how you start solving problems, right? I understand you can roll bad sometimes, but as a whole, don't ignore the shooting phase just because in your head you can't understand that this is not reliable. That's not the point. The point is it's another tool in your toolbox as a player in 40K to solve problems that your opponent starts to possess. If they know you can only play in one phase of the game, you look like a towel player, but the other direction. They pretty much know exactly what you're going to do. Like, okay, all you can do is move, and then you can charge into my screens. Okay, or I can just put my gun shooting unit right here in the open, right in the perfect line of sight to 2 different objectives, and he never has to respect me. That you can't, as someone who's trying to control your rate of attrition, you can't do that. And that's why we're trying to point out you want to have shooting. So that being said, there are other shooting combos that I'm sure you guys want to hear. And let's not forget about grenades. We'll be keep talking about that, but keep that in the back of your head, right? So after Flash Gitz, the mech gun, Captain Badrock, the mech, you're looking at it, you're like, that's a pretty expensive combo. Let's go look at individual units. So after that, we'll talk about everybody's favorite buggy from 9th edition, the Rucker Truck Squig buggy. So Dave, you want to read some of its data sheet real quick for everybody?
Yeah, so the ranged weapons, the abilities?
Oh, you can read the data sheet because the data sheet has some good abilities itself.
Squig launches, its blast, ignores cover, and it's indirect.
Oh, okay, well, I'm ignoring your cover, and even though it gives you +1 armor save, I'm ignoring your cover. Haha. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
kinda wiping that
GW is okay. Sorry. Okay, continue. My bad.
off. And it's got great range at 36 inches. D6 plus 6 shots.
Okay, give you it's trying to make up for the fact that it used to have another gun in its back, guys. If you look on your model, there's 2 of those little guns, so I understand. It didn't give us a twin link, but okay, they tried to give us more shots, right? I like plus 6, even though D6 can go either way.
Right, and it's hitting on 5s, strength 5, -1 AP, 2 damage.
But is it hitting on 5s?
No, just the buzz of squigs. Each time this model makes an attack with squig launches that targets infantry unit, add 1 to the hit roll.
Yep, and most of these gunline units, these units that are used as gunline units, like what, Devastator Marines, or maybe your opponent's countercharging units, like some Zerkers or some 8-bound, maybe some Gene Stealers. We're just throwing everything. Guys, we know what the meta is. We just don't want to be repeating what everybody knows is trying to charge them. Gene Stealers. But the point is that you have this buff gives you the slight, instead of paying for the mech, having them follow around a buggy. No, the buggy isn't, because remember, the buggy is only, this one is a bit more expensive. I understand 110 points. But the buggy itself, in every game, is going to give you a different ability, a utility, right? You can look at it and say, this thing has a giant base. You know what? In this matchup, maybe I'm not going to get my points in regression for returning. I mean, my points return for shooting. I'm going to utilize its OC, its speed, and its big base to block out some monsters, since I'm not going to be able to hurt them. Or it can be, hey, I'm going to take out some enemy barb gaunts that are just sitting over there and just looking like they want to play too pretty. I'm just going to packer them up and then walk up to the objective with my 3 OC, force the enemy maybe to come get me, or I'm going to throw mortal wounds at them, right? The fact that it's fast, like we keep talking about, yes, our guns are unreliable, but if here's a trend we're starting to pick up, our guns are kind of fast and they're kind of cutting angles, and this one's indirect. So whenever you're playing 40K, guys, you can't just think black and white as this is the damage of this. Here's going to come into play. You have to think when the battlefield's unfolding and someone's looking at you and they're trying to utilize the terrain, they're trying to utilize your movement, they're trying to utilize the weaknesses of your base compared to their bases of their models. Having something that's going to ignore line of sight and shoot is something that other armies wish they had. And then being able to move 12 inches and do that with a 36-inch gun, right? So I know you're not, I'm not going to just annihilate that unit. You're not. But when we're talking about controlling a rate of fire, sometimes you got to poke hole in that enemy's gun lines so that you can kind of wither their firepower down so that you can withstand their firepower. Okay? Because the chances are the enemy might end up killing this instead of your truck. And then that truck will deliver your knobs, right? Or your beast snagger boys when on the wall to get somewhere. So this is the way you're thinking about it. It's not that you even want to always keep this guy alive. In some matchups, you might just say, hey, I'm letting you kill this instead of my truck. So in a whole guy, we're letting it, guys, let it be seen that, yes, we know that it's not going to directly get its return and points, but that's not always the point. Sometimes you got to poke those units down that are going to give you problems later in the game for your more durable units, and maybe get his mortal wounds off if you can with the squig mines. Hope that maybe you can pull tank shock. He still has a strength 7 and it's kind of non-reliable fighting, but he's trying. Right? And that's how I utilize Orks. Like I said, 40K is a resource management game, just like the game of war itself is a logistical battle. And therefore, utilizing all the phases, utilizing a complete data sheet throughout is how you become a better player as a whole. Okay? And so this is one of those ways you're going to be doing with shooting. Now, let's move on to someone that one of the data sheets people might not be accustomed to talking about right now. Lootas as it is. Boom, Lootas. Okay, before you start throwing your teeth at me because you're so happy I talked about Lootas. No, I'm just kidding. If anything, you're throwing your choppers at me trying to crack my head for talking about something. But here's what it's in reality, right, guys? 48-inch range on those def guns. 55 points for the 5 guys. Okay. I understand you're like, okay, there's only 10 more points than a grot for a unit of boys. In most cases, they're not. Now, you're not punching, you're not doing that, but the durability of the boys and the range that most other enemy armies, David, as you know, like you talk about some of your gunline armies, are they going to appreciate someone that's 48 inches with strength 8? And then if you are putting them on a terrain piece, which that's the whole idea behind Lootas, if you play on a terrain, right? Remember, guys, this is all based off the terrain you have at your home and whatever you're playing. If you're playing somewhere that you can get the high ground, get that additional P for that withering fire ability that they have now in 40K, where you get on above 6 inches and you get an additional AP on your gun. That's a strength 8 -2 damage gun. What? You can't just scoff at that just because the math says something. If you haven't not played 40K, you spike that, you're re-rolling ones, and then they're on an objective, and the fact that you have 48 inches, you're mixing this up with something like a buggy. That's the whole idea of what we're thinking here, guys. You're compounding it and you're putting them in different parts of the battlefield. You can even go up to a big unit of 10, 110 points for that. Does the enemy even want to shoot this really in reality? With what? The guns that can reach them are idealistically the same guns they want to use against vehicles. How many people really have long-range anti-infantry firepower other than maybe indirect guns? Right? So if you have that, if that's the case, they have a lot of other things you're gonna have to worry about in your battlefield as a whole. It's okay if they kill your little cheap Lootas, right? So Lootas. Now, David, you want to read their ability? If people are not, I know you're still not convinced out there, guys, but read their abilities.
Yeah, that's our loot. Each time this model makes a range attack, reroll hit roll 1, and if that attack targets unit within range of an objective marker, you can reroll the hit roll instead.
Interesting. So would it be wise to maybe include one of our interesting Big Meks?
Oh yeah, there's a guy just for the job.
Oh, maybe they need some leaders. Let's see. Boom, with the Big Mek with the shock attack gun. Why is that? Because what is yours is mine, you get. So their ability would translate onto him with his gun because he's a part of their unit. Right? So let's take a moment to give some love to the Big Mek with the shock attack gun. Now, he already has the innate more Dakka, so he already gets rerolls of 1. We understand that. But he's a nice way to induce battle shock. Now, some people are like, oh, battle shock. Okay, I get it. But some people out there are saying, I like battle shock, and maybe I use Def Dreads. I hate to break it to you. Def Dreads are not a good gun platform. They will not be on this list, in my opinion. But that being said, it's an easier way with this to initiate battle shock instead of you trying to get into combat with the Def Dread and getting it only once in the game, if getting it at all, right? So you do get their war gear ability, right, David?
The Grot Assistant, once per battle, after rolling to determine how many shots the bear's shock attack gun makes, you can re-roll that dice.
So I do like to put that ability, because what I'm going to go on to next, guys, is I'm just throwing it out there so you can understand what the Lootas is. I do know that D6 is unreliable. I just wanted to give this gun a shout out because it has a magnificent -4 AP. He does have heavy, so he will get +1. So when he's hanging out with the Lootas, their whole idea is to hold down a lane at long range. And he'll be getting the full reroll to hit, hopefully, if there's an objective, which comes into great utility when you get to reroll his war gear, the amount of shots one time, right? That one turn you finally are on the objective, you're going to be like, I'm going to reroll. Hey, here, guys, here we go. Or the amount of shots, excuse me. And then you already know you're going to get +1 to hit, possibly rerolling hits if they're on the objective, because that's the whole point of the Lootas. These are what I'm talking about when you're compounding your resources trying to shoot, guys, okay? It's not always just linear of I'm just going to do this, even though this is a bit more of a expensive package, and I personally favor just bringing more Lootas. I just wanted to throw this out there because it's a fun combo that people wanted to see, and I just wanted to bring everybody's attention. Though I will admit, I am not a fan of random amounts of shots or random damage. So if that's not your cup of tea, I understand it, but it's still one of our better gun profiles and one of our only HQs that's really good for shooting. So do one quick look at Lootas again. And just in case we forgot to mention, Lootas are heavy and they are rapid fire 1. I understand their ballistic skills huge turn off, but they are only 55 points, which is only 10 points more than a Grot. And the fact that the rapid fire means they actually get 3 shots at 24 inches, which makes them extremely worth it at their points at that point, because we start rolling the dice yourself and you'll see. So from that being said, and give it some try. Give it some. Remember, you always got Overwatch too, guys. Keep that in mind too. 48 in range. Somebody's trying to walk, and if you got the CP for it, no, I'm gonna Overwatch these guys. I really don't like that unit. I really don't want when they're about to countercharge me. I get a couple of those models down because I know they're gonna turn into my Squig Hog boys. Let me try to kill a couple of them. Okay, especially if you know they're gonna end up on the objective, like I always said. Keep that in mind. And after that, we're gonna move on. Just speaking of grots, how about a mech gun? Boom, boom. David, can you read the ability? Because I like when you read it.
All right, splat. Each time a model in this unit makes a range attack, that target a unit of 10 or more models, reroll hit roll 1.
Okay, the first time I brought up mech guns, that's the first thing David read. I don't know why on the data sheet. I was talking about the gun. I was like, dang, look at that strength 12. David's like, splat from the side of my ear. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about?
I just imagine that's what the gun makes it when it hits the enemy.
I mean, yeah, splat. I mean, especially the smasher gun, right? So there you go. All right. So regardless of a splat, okay, not a great. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Honestly, not a great ability. Okay. But what is great is a custom Mega Blaster profile. Okay. I know some of you green teams are like, hazardous. I'm definitely taking that gun. And some of you guys are like, if you're new to Orks, should I? You should. I know the smasher gun, it's pretty great because it's reliable with the damage 3, but the D3 shots is just gonna hurt your feelings most of the time. Tractor cannon, if you really want to take a go at that because you're meta for some reason, go ahead. And like I said before, I'm not a fan of random, right? Not to that extent. We already are up against it with our shooting. I don't need to put more variables and odds up against me, right?
Yeah, it's only one shot too.
Yeah, well, I was talking about with the bubble chucker. And because what you have to do is you have to roll for which profile you're going to use. Yes. So that's what I mean. It's like, it's not that I don't think they're all bad profiles or that you like wouldn't find a case for them. But the idea is you're bringing that gun to do what it wants to do when it does shoot. And if you roll a 1 to 2 and you're trying to kill a tank, you'll be like, I really am shooting bubbles at you. So, so that's what I'm saying. I just would bring the custom Mega Blaster. Overall, when people are bringing these, they're bringing them as individual models, and they're just bringing the custom Mega Blaster. They're taking the risk of the hazardous to pretty much trade the damage of what these guys could potentially put into these really high toughness models that are out there, right? So for the most part, when people do bring mech guns, they bring them individually and not as the big units. And they do just bring anywhere from 1 individual, I've seen sometimes, but usually about 3 individual ones. Yeah. And so mech guns, I haven't really seen any leader abilities, David. Nobody's really putting a character with them. Like I said, they're running them as individuals. If you want to change my mind, go ahead and then show me in the Discord or I'll find you on an RTT result when you do great. But
if you're really concerned about the hazardous, which I don't think you should, because this model has 6 wounds, so it's definitely going to survive a turn if you do roll that one. But a mech can heal it if you do decide to buff it.
But if I was a mech, I wouldn't, though. If I was a mech, I wouldn't. We get them grots blow up. So yeah, but it's an option, of course. If it's too early in the game, you're like, ugh. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Now, mech guns, though, most people understand what the point is. If you got the points for them, if you plan a terrain that you can set up that line of sight, maybe you went Lootas and a mech gun, you're just confusing people. They're like, what do I shoot here? That could be a thing. I don't know. But people have been bringing a couple of mech guns, especially and it does translate into some good damage into these really high toughness. Strength 12 is nothing to scoff at because we lack that as a whole. Okay. So that being said, right, those are more of my favorite units, guys. And we're talking about just direct damage output, what I just went over with the flash gitz, with the Captain Badrock, the mech, and the truck combo. Then when they get out of the truck, they go crazy. I have seen people thinking about outflanking them in small 5-man units. I haven't put them to play yet, so I can't give you feedback. But just in the back of your mind, if you think that's the way you want to get them on the field, that way you can attempt it. But for the most part, put them in trucks. Pay for that package so you have reliable output. Next thing, the rocket truck squig buggies. We've seen people bring in 2 or 3 of them. Like I said, you're acting like they're maybe a thicker bike unit just running out. Sometimes I'll steal an OC. Sometimes I'll shoot at somebody and use them as a line of sight that's out of line of sight or direct line of sight so I can do reliable damage into them. That's the flexibility of that vehicle, right? In the matchup, you might not have the greatest targets from, and another one, you might have the best targets from because you're getting blasted every turn. So that's why you bring him.
If you got Storm Boys on the list, the Squig buggies are great for clearing little areas, pockets, so your Storm Boys can land, like screening unit type units in the back. Yeah,
reduce those gaunts when you're annoyed by them. Like, never mind, you guys. And then the unit that I was kind of favoring was the Lootas, right? Like I said, Lootas. The Big Mech with the shock attack gun, don't really have to, but if you want to, you can do him. Lootas are for the Overwatch and the fact that they're a cheap package. Mech guns, really good into anti-armor, anti-vehicles. Now, these are the kind of these are going to be the second lower tier units we're going to talk about now. That are not as great and reliable as shooting, but they can still serve other purposes, right? For the fact that they exist on the list, but they still fall under a shooting category, right? Yeah. Right? Dakka. So the next thing is burner boys. So burner boys, they're a pretty cheap package for what they bring. Being able to auto hit kind of bypasses our ability that we suck, that we can't hit anything. And David, you want to read their pyromaniacs?
Yeah, pyromaniacs. Each time a model in this unit makes a range attack with the burner that targets an enemy unit within 6 inches, reroll wound roll 1. And if that enemy is within range of objective marker, reroll the wound roll instead.
Ooh, there we go. Now, before I rant more about him, do you want to maybe hit a chat or something? Because I feel like I've been ranting. Yes, when I just get them flowing, guys, they're just there going, and you see I start grabbing the mic, I'm ready to. Oh, okay, but sorry, I'm excited, and yeah, I mean, I'm definitely adding more shooting to my list, and I think a lot of people on Discord have been too.
Yeah, we got Austin Hatfield in the chat. Whoa, Orks for the win.
Always We're never beaten.
And Brandon saying, I'm happy to see y'all highlighted mechs. Such a great model and an extra tool to play the late game.
Hey, I want a different voice for mech. I'm glad y'all talked about the mech. Guess I'm gonna pretend you talk, Brandon. All
right. Cammy, whoa! Starting to build my orc army tomorrow. Truck, beast boss, and snaggers will be delivered in the morning to join the bits I've already got.
Oh, there you go. You're coming in high with the beast snaggers in the truck. You're like, I know we play casually, but I shall bring the meta. That's okay. Get crumping. Talking about new things. I've been enjoying the combat patrol, talking about little new stuff. So that's that's that. When you said new to making your orcs, I thought about that.
All right, we got Al. Whoa. Very excited for this video. Love the work, guys. We'll watch this video a lot. Thanks for the love.
I appreciate you very much. Which I don't want to rant.
Our big mech again. Squig buggies are great for picking up small units trying to hold objectives.
For sure, right? Start taking off the enemy shaft. You don't got that many units, well, I'm gonna start picking them down, making them nothing. And that combat by almost like a association, right? I mean, the shooting by association, right? You got a rocket here. You got some big shooters on your truck here. You got some indirect here. You got some looters here. All of a sudden, that counter-punching unit has lost 2 or 3 models. And that guy's looking like, dang, am I going to be able to punch out the Squig Hog boys now? So really, that's kind of how orcs work. You're not really thinking, I'm going to go here and my unit's going to annihilate you. It's like, if you have enough units that kind of put some supplementary fire into you, you start to end up withering away enemies' key units before they even make contact in a way they weren't expecting.
Yeah, it's putting pressure with bullets.
More Dakka.
All right, Gatsu, mech guns worth it? How many would you run?
I think, like I said, it's really your terrain, right? And the terrain I play with the little GW setup, I almost have no almost like reliable line of sights. And if I do, I'm like clogging up one of my own moving lanes. So I end up don't using mech guns for that reason. But if it was like player place terrain and I knew I could set up mech guns and I knew maybe some other people were going to bring some some tank platforms and I really wanted to bring mech guns to kind of counter them because they're going to be stationary and easy targets, then maybe I'd bring them. And if I did, I'd bring 3.
All right, Joel Atkins. Whoa. Yeah, bosses. And we also got Mark Bruce. Whoa,
the Bruce. I think we have. We're also going over some hobby pictures later, guys, after this stream. And I think Bruce, I'm definitely going to be looking at some of your pictures, just so you know.
Is that your Magnus, Bruce, in your profile picture? That's beautiful.
That's my Magnus. That's my Magnus. Just kidding. All
right. He also says, I've got 8 of those mini tanks from Temu to make into grot.
Oh, you sneaky grot. No, I was kidding. No, I was gonna say sneaky git. But no, that's a great idea, actually. I seen those and I seen the pictures. Those work really well. They're like little plastic like truck tanks. I seen that. I didn't mention to like reply on Discord because I was on the toilet, but it was great.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I believe Temu is that one shopping app that has got a lot of great deals in general. I didn't even think to look for Warhammer stuff on there. So good eye, Mark.
Let's go.
Then you got Aiden Marquez. Lads, how would you get kit out of Lootas? I feel like 6-5+ to hit is just rough.
It is rough, but do not move. Stand still in the firing lane. Like I said, if your terrain doesn't allow for that, then don't. But for 55 points and at that range, my friend, most people, now there's some units and some armies that are like, yeah, I got firepower for that. As a whole, people just don't bring that. They don't, and then if they do, they don't want to spend it on a 55 point unit. Remember, like I said, it's shooting by association with orcs in more cases than not. Now there are the flash kits where you can throttle and go hard, but it's more like your Rucker Truck Squig buddy is looted, Squiggy buggy is getting help to buy your small looter unit most likely because you're not trying to overcommit to shooting either. You're trying to spend less than 500. But more than 200 points on your shooting, somewhere around there, right? If you're trying to add a couple units to your list. And that's why Lootas are kind of easy to add because instead of just having absolutely none, maybe you had like 10 points go over, you put the grots and you still have those points embedded GW app. You're like, okay, well, put Lootas then. You know, that's more or less what I'm saying. But if you have like a screening problem, say you play against Eldar and Elves, then you go to Burner Boys. So really it's about what's in your meta. If you're getting charged a lot by maybe some World Eaters, some Marines, maybe 2 Moon models, maybe other Orks or whatever, you can end up using Lootas in a weird way with that strength 8, guys. And when it does get up to -2, and mind you, you're not just hitting on 5s. You are re-rolling 1s. And then if they aren't objective, you're getting a full re-roll, my friend. And that's without you contributing anything. So I know the ballistic skill is hard because I overlooked it too. If you go to videos from a month ago, I was like, I don't know. And then I started rolling it. And then I started putting into some of the little matches passively. And I was like, man, I'm putting away some of the, and people don't want to shoot it. They're like, I want to kill those boys that are directly in front of me, not the boys that are 46 inches away. You know what I mean? Like they, for the most part, people start picking apart what's coming at you. So, but if they have, maybe like a bunch of impulsors and then they have a lot of small arms fire and they move up and they're like, I got big shooters for you. Then okay, in that case, maybe not in your meta, right? But give them a try if you want just a little additional fire, but don't firepower. Don't be scared. Well, I'm not saying you are because you're a green skin. So yeah, is that caught up on the chats then? Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you, chats. I appreciate you guys. And I like to rant, so sorry if I do. Now as for the burner boys, I know they're not ideally a shooting unit, but they do provide that screen clearing, like I said, for something like an Eldar, somebody that wants to be -1 to hit. And personally, I would put the rocket launcher on my expander boy before people ask me. That's just what I would do. Okay. And yeah, and they're a small unit, put them in a truck with maybe some of the small unit of knobs. That's how I would more or less use them, but they're not exactly shooting, but I just want to throw them out there. The next unit, it's some somewhat underrated shooting, Killa cans. So when people ask me, would you rather choose a Death Dread with multiple rockets or a unit of Killa cans, I just go to Killa cans. Okay, you're not paying the additional points for the mech to give it to the Death Dread, because if the Death Dread's just running around hitting on 5s, it's definitely not worth it, right? But you can pay the points equivalent for the more wounds and the possible ability to, David, their ability, if you want to read it.
Yeah, they got Shooty Power Trip. Each time a unit is selected to shoot, you can roll 1d6. On a 1, the nearest other friendly Orks unit within 12 and visible to this unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 2 up until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have the ignores cover.
Ignores cover. Exactly. And that's something the Death Dread just doesn't have. So yeah, you might hurt your own unit. Very orky. Don't care. Blow them up a little bit. In reality, you're delivering some reliable rocket launchers at that rate, because now you're hitting on 4s. I understand their strength is not ideal, but when you're getting to it's essentially -3 AP now in the meta. With how easy cover is to get, you're kind of moving up into that -3 territory for flat damage tree. And like I spoke about before, sometimes these expensive, maybe kind of durable or pricey premium countercharging units that want to come into you, they're going to hate being hit with damage 3. I promise you, right? If any of you guys know, you've seen a Beaky lose a Terminator, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? See, so, yeah, so it's just, David's like, yeah, actually, not you said it. 40, 50 point unit model. And then, like, and it's associated fire, because like I said, it's not that you're necessarily just picking this unit to shoot. You're picking this unit because it's beefy, it has spread out wounds everywhere, it's slightly durable, fitting your theme, it's going to have great armor saves, it has that flat damage tree in combat. That's why I said it's not necessarily just shooting, but there's a unit in your mind where I said, remember, you're not just committing to just shooting units. You're picking units that are viable in shooting in multi phases of the game that bring both of that for that compounding force multiplier, right? Where you're going to be adding combined arms, and that's how you really win out as a whole in 40K. If it wasn't the case, then Todd wouldn't suck. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm just joking. So, okay, yeah, you're right. No, sorry, I'm just trying to be, why am I trying to be politically correct? Yeah, I don't care. I'm sorry, because it's how players. If you play Todd, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying I don't love your faction. So yeah. So Killa cans, just in my opinion, we're talking about shooting as a whole, I know, but in your head, you're going to pick the flash gits, and I'm not going to say like, all right, now add more just guns to your, no. I'm going to say, now think about other units that will assist, still put some firepower down, but still do the orky thing and get stuck in, right? So that's what I mean why we're presenting some of these other units. Now, another unit, and I don't think, David, did you bring these up to the shock? Yeah, you did. Oh, okay. So this, okay, don't yell at me. I know this is great for shooting. It's not great for shooting.
Have it in here. It just jumped in.
It's not great for shooting. I just wanted to bring it up that other people don't know all the time that we suck at shooting, okay? And you can scare people as an orc player when you tell them, I have precision, ballistic skill 2, because we're going to pretend that you're giving yourself +1 to hit from the mech that might be on your list from the flash gits or whatever, right? You tell someone, I can snipe out your character, your 3-wound character, your 4-wound character. That's hilarious, and it might get people to kind of make themselves out of position, right? In reality, this unit's not going to help you too much with firepower, but it is going to help you in the case of mortals, and it's going to help you in the case of board control and positioning and shooting and getting in those firing lanes that you are going to want, or the positions of the corners of the board you're going to want. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about grenades. That's why I wanted to mention mortals, because this is all going to come full circle, this conversation, guys. We're going to talk about from the beginning to the end. It's all makes sense to each other. So Shock Jump Dragsta, it still has the ability to do the tank shock strap. And it's kind of going to scare people if you start adding that mech, telling people I can possibly snipe out your little weenie character and get people to act wrong. Not great at shooting, though. I'm just going to say that right now. It's just sometimes you can get the opponent to overthink for themselves. And this is one of those units that even if they don't overthink, they still score for you. So it's fine. Just want to throw it out there, though, because it's not getting love sometimes. Next one is something that I love, so I might be biased here, but is it the Mega? Oh, we didn't do it? Mega Track Scrapjet? No. Oh, oops. Okay, well, real quick, pretty much falls in the same category as this. Mega Track Scrapjet. If you happen to have a mech there, his guns might be good. In reality, he's just trying to put mortals, and I just like to throw him out there as if associative kind of model right there, right? So, and why do I bring up mortal wounds when we're talking about shooting? And that's because we could just go to the grenade. And that's because I wanted to talk about the grenade strat now, David.
Yeah, in your shooting phase, one grenades unit from your army that is not within engagement range of any enemy units and has not been selected to shoot this phase. Select one enemy unit that is not within engagement range of any units from your army and is within 8 inches and visible to your grenades unit. Roll 66 for every 4 up. That's 1 mortal wound.
Oh, and like I want to say the last part of that targeting sentence is and has not been selected to shoot this phase. Okay, so any of these units that I'm about to go over and mention, guys, that have the grenade keyword, I just figured I might as well pull up a couple units. When I mean couple, I mean all of them, that have grenade keyword into their data sheet. Know that you're going to do this first, and then you're going to shoot with them, right? So right off the bat, what's going to be funny? War bikers, death copters, boys. We don't have images for this, guys. You can just not believe me and then check your apps. That'll be fun. War bikers, death copters, boys, storm boys, knobs, squig hog boys, commandos, and snickrot, and the Big Mek with the custom force field, and the war boss. Okay, I forgot to look at the index, guys. I mean, not the index, though. Forge World, so maybe they do too. But the point is, these are all units, for example, that can start compounding mortals with the rest of and to throw this as well into the army, into the conversation, because it acts almost as shooting, considering these are the units that are going to be coming forward in your army, almost running into the screens or are going to get close to the models that you're going to be wanting to shoot at anyways. For example, Squig Hog Boys. I actually think you did bring those up, right? Did you have them or no? Okay. The Squig Hog Boys, you guys, are one of those model units that has grenades, but they also have their squig bombs. Their squig bombs. Oh, isn't that the whole thing? Oh, okay. That means, and in the squig bombs are now, guys, I know you guys are like, whoa, they're shooting. In 9th edition, they were shooting. In 10th edition, the squig bombs come out in the movement phase. Oh, David's gonna pull it up right now. So, David, sorry, you can read it.
Oh, sorry. Wild Ride?
Bomb squig.
Oh, bomb squig. Once per battle, each bomb squig in this this unit has, after the unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit within 12 inches and roll 1d6. On a 2-up, the enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds.
So now we'll say you'll just put maybe 5 mortal wounds into someone now before you charge him with the Squig Hog Boy unit.
Yeah, just more activation.
That's what I'm saying, guys, is then, okay, and then you shoot that unit, maybe with the Lootas, maybe with your indirect. What just happened? That guy didn't even think he was going to be killed in the shooting phase. Now you've just deleted 8 elite mortal wounds worth of, elite wounds worth of a model of a unit. This is the way you want to be thinking as an orc person, you guys, right? As an orc player is what I'm trying to show you guys. It's not necessarily, I have this Devastator unit, +1, re-rolling, exploding 6s, dead. That's not how we play. We them boys. So everybody's taking shots at the same target before they run up to it, right? So everything's taking a chip off that guy when you're shooting at them. You don't want to think just that unit is killing you. It's like I said, Squig Hog Boys lined up to that unit that's coming down the lane. That unit walked into the line of sight so that they can shoot at the Squig Hog Boys. Now the Lootas have returned fire and shot at them. Squig Hog Boys threw bombs into them. Then they threw grenades into them. All of a sudden, you shot the unit that's behind the unit that you're going to charge into, and they weren't even expecting it. Then they lost half their unit. This is the way you want to be thinking. And that wasn't even an expensive combo of shooting. That was 1 CP, Squig Hog Boys plus Lootas. All of a sudden, you killed a couple models, right? And I'm not going to, here's the mathematically. Roll it out. And that's what my point, though. This is how you want to start thinking as a player. And like I said, for one more go around, war bikers do this. Def copters don't use def copters. Boys, as in standard boys, beast snacker boys don't do this. Storm boys, knobs, Squig Hog Riders, commandos, Snickra, and the warboss on foot, right?
Yeah, and depending on the situation, this also helps you with your durability. If you further weaken that unit, and on the clapback, they're not able to fully handle what you have in their face, you're there for another round of combat. Yeah,
that's really the idea behind of why you add just some fire, why you add more Dakka to your list. Because if you're already trying to be durable, I see some smart people that are going into these mechanized lists with the kill tanks. They're like, hey, I need some guns. They're bringing the Squig Hog Riders, and they're like, hey, I need some flash gits, right? So if you're paying attention to the meta as a whole, you'll see that this is something that a lot of the competitive scene is bringing. So that can validate it, whether you want to go based off the math hammer, you want to go based off the win rates, you want to go based off, just roll it at home at yourself. The point is, consider your terrain, consider your matchup, and then consider the models you have at your disposal as well. If your theme is just straight Squig Hog Boys, you don't want to bring any shooting, okay, that's fine. You made a list based off that. I'm not telling you how to play 40K. I'm just telling you this is something that can help be used as a tool, another way of thinking, especially once we start getting more rules for shooting, right, David?
Yeah. No. Once the codex comes out and we get some clan rules, Orks shooting can take that next level and actually be threatening to multiple armies. Yeah.
So if maybe we can read some chats, we're probably going to wrap this little segment up, guys. We'll close it. That way it's easy for people to digest later in like a 45-minute to whatever video long this is right now. And I'm going to immediately open up another stream, and we're going to be talking about other things like Q&A. We're going to be painting and hobbying because I have some boys to put together. We want to talk in general. We're going to be showing pictures of the Discord and people's stuff. So if you put stuff in Discord, you might want to see your own stuff since we're going to present it. But yeah, let's look at what chat says real quick so I can say hello to the gitz.
Yeah, Mark Bruce just confirming that, yeah, I did paint that Magnus. You did a tremendous job. Like, I can't even see the whole model.
He did? Yeah, I feel disrespectful now that I said it was mine.
Horns, even the skin, everything's so sick on me. Like, he did a very good job of like creating the shadows. I don't know how you did that. That's amazing. He also says those tanks are cheap. Got 8 for 32 Australian bucks.
Is that what the Timu did? Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude, it's a brilliant idea, especially because I've been seeing you've been putting stuff together, and yeah, dude, you're gonna do great. It's gonna be awesome.
Joel Atkins, Tau do suck. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you do, you fish boys. You blue fishies.
Mark Bruce, your thoughts on the death with 3 flamers to Overwatch? List is important, of course. 2 kill tanks, 8 grot tanks, 6 killer cans.
I can see. Well, I can imagine because he's like the only of your death dreads you're trying to bring. You're either gonna go run away and sacrifice him like a distraction Carnivaz, and he's gonna kind of do one of your flanks on the side of the board. In that case, yeah, he might want to be utilizing reliable firepower because, like I said, the rockets, I just think you're not going to hit ever. But so you don't get bogged down if people start throwing some chaff at you and knowing that, oh, this guy gets about 7 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s or 3s. He's only going to kill about 4 or 5 of my unit models. I'll be bog him down. Yeah, bring the flamers. In that case, with the rest of your list, I think the flamers are right. I'm not in love with Death Dread, so I'm not going to say there's not other options, but based off everything else on your list, it does have context to be used that way. So yes.
All right, Joel. Dang, did not know that bikers had grenades.
What? Oh, well. War bikers have. Do you have that? Are we gonna pull it up? No. Do you have it, or I'll pull it up?
He has more. Or Squig Hog Boys would have been useful last game.
Grenades. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying grenades as I'm saying it. I was just, yeah, I know, right? That was surprising to come across for the most part.
Yeah, and those mortals can make that difference.
They do. And I mean, people have been talking about this to me. It's not like I'm sitting here, guys, saying I'm the arbiter of all truth. This is just I'm compiling information from other people, from other games, from conversations, from my games. That happened to me too. where I literally thought this and I was like, man, I would put mortals into those guys. I would have crushed, right? In that same way. So yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I mean, as we learn, and that's the point of why, right? The WAAAGH is the conglomerate of clans, and all of us have the way we WAAAGH, the way we commit war, the way we enjoy ourselves. Yet we all know that a real WAAAGH is everybody utilizing their clans in their own way, benefiting from each other, and then using like what the U.S. military calls combined arms, right? And that's really how you want to be thinking as Orc players. We are one of the factions that can maximize that.
All right, we're caught up.
Okay, so I think that's a good way to probably go, right, David? Because where are we here for the topic at least?
We're at 45. Should we just continue and I'll cut it later?
Oh yeah, you want to? I think if you want to just cut it and we can keep this going, that's fine. Because okay, then yeah, I think we could move immediately instead of cutting it off. We could just move immediately to, like we said, do you want to be showing the Discord? So I'm gonna be showing some of the lads' new progress, right? As we move on. So that's it for the topic, guys. David's gonna end up cutting this, making it so it's easier to digest for some new, some little spores that are out there, some greenskins that are not sure about us. Then I don't want to join the WAAAGH yet, but maybe they can watch this segment and get some information and benefit from us.
And even for you guys that want to rewatch this,
yeah,
pick up on maybe some information you didn't pick up the first time.
Yeah, but from that we're gonna just start talking about stuff as a whole, guys, because it's been fun. So David, yeah, we can probably scroll up because there's a lot of really good painters as a whole. If we could start probably from higher up than that and then come down. Sorry, David just pulled Discord. I'm trying to fill him in, guys, because it was the first time that he was pulling it directly from Discord. It was a lot. That's a picture of me. So we can probably go. Don't say down. Down. That was me. They're probably down. All right. So cool. Anybody that's still here? Hey, and guys, give me feedback for what we just talked about. If you agree, if you've been using stuff to your list as well, have you been adding shooting? I know some people in the Discord have. I know competitively some people have. Some people have been having success with just running Squig Hog boys straight into people and just running them over and just like, nah, I don't even care. Don't need the guns. Right? I'm like, all right, Snake Bite. All right, dude, I see you. But yeah, how have you guys been doing? Give me some feedback. I know you guys are out there and you guys all got opinions, you know. But this is Thomcats, right?
Yeah, Thomcat.
Thomcat showing off some of, and he showed a couple of stuff. So this isn't in any order. This is just what's going through the Discord. Thomcat decided to show us. He was showing comparing to Walday and me some of his squigs. I do have some blue squigs as well. So yeah, I get that. That's one of the pictures. Yeah, we like to show off some of the Discord's picture, guys, and hobby progress. That way more people get encouraged to keep going and showing their wilds off and getting their armies painted up. Because it's one thing to start 40K, and then it's another thing to actually get your armies painted and get a full battle-ready army, present that on a table, show up to a tournament and be like, I am one with the wall, right? If running out there with gray, you know, I'm not sure if you're like a greenskin necessarily yet, right? You're more like a snotling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you guys. Trust me. I didn't have anything painted for like a year. All right. Okay. But another picture from another one of our boys. We're going through and let's see. I don't know. No. Keep going. Keep going. And that's another one from. Who is this? Oh, this is someone who was pinging you onto the Discord. And then after that, I see you, Bruce, put the tank up in there. Oh. All right. Bam. And who was this green skin?
This is from Nut.
Nut. Oh, Nut's kind of new. He's kind of new. Yeah, kind of newer. Nut. So thanks for sharing that, Nut. More Squig Hog boys, dude. And this is what I was saying while he was showing off his, because you can see another blue theme with the same color of the squig color.
I like the terrain here too.
And you know,
kind of changes.
Mine looks kind of his better than mine, but mine looks kind of similar. And that's funny how all of us are kind of thinking the same way. Either we're all simple, or maybe that's just the best way orcs look when it's just like a nice broken up ground. Because in all, most likely, whatever terrain they're running over got obliterated by artillery before they got there, right? From the first other waves of people. So yeah, we can move over to the Bruce. And here we are with the Bruce and his beginning, and he actually has progress of his kill tank. So he was like, you know what? I've been hearing about these kill tanks so much. I'm just gonna make one. I'm gonna Big Mek it. Get that out here. Let's go. Whoa!
Yeah, these are the ones he was talking about that he got on Temu.
Yeah, and he has more. No, not those. This is actually a Forge World model.
Oh,
there's a
okay.
Bein blade type. No. His Temus are the little. They're like these little green little tanks. I think he showed them in here too. And that's his progress. He has a grot sticking out the front of it. It's freaking hilarious. And boom. Just adding.
A little grot here sticking out the cannon.
He has the disembarking ramp. Right.
Some nice rockets right here on the side.
He put bits from the planes. You could tell that's obviously from the plane on there. He just that's what's great about Orks. You just add any bit from anything. It's like no other faction could you be like, I'm gonna add the wing to the back of this repulsor or the back of this gladiator, and the back. They'd be like, what are you doing, bro? And no, this makes sense. Me, I look at this and I'm like, that's proper Orky. Yeah, and he's been showing our progress on that, guys. And then some of the other Big Meks are telling them, hey, these are the dimensions. This is what you want to do. This is how it looks. Bam, bam. So he's making sure, hey, and he of course, he's going to ask with his TOs, stuff like that, if he can use it, if he's going to bring it out and beat people up with it. But in all, when people see Orc players flexing our creative muscles, you know, they appreciate it more than anything. And this is another kit bashing.
And this one's from Dade JP.
All right.
My take on an Orky night.
And he literally said, honestly, I just took bits, guys, of everything I had and compiled it and decided to make Mecha Dread. Which, if you guys don't know, Mecha Dread is a Forge World model that's pretty much just like a super Def Dread. And that's why it has that crazy right arm that's like a chain blade, because that's how I kind of looked for them.
It looks like the base of a soul grinder.
Right? Actually, yeah, you're right. I didn't even know what that was. I thought it was it looks like it started that, and then it's like a truck or something over there. I don't know what he's. I mean, that's hilarious. It looks almost chaos just because of the horn right there. But then you see the orc and the guns on top, and you realize they were just some snake bites with a mech boy. Because even though snake bites don't love like to use mech stuff, guys, they do still have those, right? A WAAAGH still will still produce mech boys. It's not like just because they favor squigs that they don't exist in their WAAAGH. But I'm saying this is what it looks like to me.
I love this. This is very orky.
Yeah.
I can just imagine them finding some chaos and just picked up these soul grinder legs. Looks like this is the chaos torso up here. Up here, that's some sort of tank.
Is that it looks like a Adeptus Mechanicus or no, a battle. It looks like the top of a battle wagon super cannon, or something like that. That's really what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good kit bash. And I like to see kit bashes because I'm not as creative as attack. So, whenever I see someone else flexing that part of their mind, I'm like, heck yeah, man, let me get that. Let me see it. And the best part of this is how the orc's completely exposed. Like you just walk up and poke him like if you were another mech, and he's I'm right here. Ah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good job, man. All right, and this is
Cal
1441.
There we go. Look at this squig, dude. Ooh, this is a squig off. Nice. Pretty much. Why are you looking all thick like that? That's the muscle. The muscle looking in. The sinews looks freaking awesome like that, and his block head. Right, I think like he could take a big artillery shot right to the face. He'd be fine.
I like how he did the legs here. It's like you can see the striations of the muscle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His shoulder blade look awesome. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get to the gym and hit my shoulders after hitting that. Feeling secure. Whoa, it's probably Orky. Did he have more angles of it or what? Okay, yeah, because I was like, I'm appreciating that one. And he did the checker pattern, the nice traditional green skin checker pattern.
Here's the front view.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. I need to get me one of these guys. Can you believe I don't have one of these? And you can see in the background, look, I see his Mazrog back there. I see your Mazrog back there. All right, it's the same.
Oh, it looks like a great white shark right here.
Okay, great white squig. What is that thing next to him though? Am I dripping? It looks like a monster from Monsters Inc. No. You know what? Let's move on. I don't want to look at that anymore. No, don't zoom in on it. Oh, it looks like a beast boss, like you kit bash one. That's awesome. Ew. That's great though. It looks like I don't know. I know he wasn't even trying to show us that. We just went to the background all picky. All right, sorry about that, man. Anyways, good job though.
Another angle, last angle here.
Okay, last angle on this one. All right, and is chat talking back? Because if chat's screaming at us, I want to know. I'm going over here just looking at these pictures like, yeah, you're better than me.
No, we're good.
Hey, what's up with that stubby tail, though? I don't know. What the heck? It's like he wanted to make a tail, and he's like, never mind. Now, I know it's not the model. It's just like that. I'm just like, hey, man, it's not combat effective. I'm just saying, can't even gain momentum with that. All right, cool. What are some of the other ones? We can keep hitting these for a second. Like I said, guys in chat, what are you guys working on? What are some ways you've been improving your list or adjusting with the meta? How'd you play when you first seen the index compared to what you're using now? Right? Like for me personally, I'm still like not sure where I'm at with Gaz. I don't think I'd find a lot of success just walking above the board, me personally, with where I play and how I play. And a lot of people utilize dev wounds where I play. So yeah. So I'm just telling me what you guys think, not just him, but like a battle wagon. I want to hear feedback. I still haven't heard anybody talking about a battle wagon. Are you loving it? Are you not loving it? Oh, this is Daggers. Sure. I would say we could leave Daggers for next week, since Daggers is going to tell us about that orc tournament. Okay. You know, since he's pretty much going to show his army for like next week. You know, I was going to say we can leave his for next week for the most part. Not all of it, but most of it. Mm-hmm. Go back all the way to this because we'll have another accumulation of shots. Oh, I saved his pictures. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's sending stuff to me directly. Yeah. So Daggers is going to, yeah, he's going to go to a tournament, the orc tournament, and that's all orc on orc violence. And with that being said, he's going to like take some pictures of the battlefields. We're going to do like a 10 to 20 minute kind of conversation about how it all went and his little experience. Give us some feedback, give us some awesome pictures. If you haven't seen Dagger's army before, I'd be surprised, but pretty much beautiful Bad Moon's army. As you can see, he freehands a lot of stuff. He kit bashes a lot of stuff. So we'll pretty much all be able to enjoy him kind of next week anyways. In a lot of different ways. Yeah, might as well finish showing his progress on the throne. Awesome. Yeah. Boys. And he was telling us guys that there's other people that have great stuff that is at the event. He's already been seeing the models too. So I imagine next week, if you're into painted models and like kit bash stuff, you're going to get on the stream and you'll be like, dang, that's a lot of good stuff. Because like for me, dude, if I'm already proud of my orc army, but if I had something like this, I would never play any other factions ever. I mean, I'd hardly ever play the ones anyways, but if I wouldn't play them at all. I probably wouldn't even own them if I had this ability. And I think that's Bruce's final product with that. Is there any other ones? Is there any other things? I don't think there is.
Looks like just added one.
Yeah, I'm just saying as a whole for pictures. But yeah, so Daggers is going to be showing us and also for you guys, if you go to an RTT and you do well, and if you want to talk about it as a whole, you can always talk about it with us in Discord. But if you go in there and do well, like top 3, you know what I mean? We can pull that up too, and we'll talk about that on stream too. So don't feel bad to go out there and share. We promote that you guys to go to RTTs and try to do your best anyways, because it's all fun and the meta is up in the air for that. So don't sit here and think, oh, just because orcs are sitting at a 47% win rate, according to Allspec tactics, they're solid mid-tier with suffering S-tier armies. Doesn't matter when you go to an RTT, my boys, you might not hit that matchup. That's how that works. We've seen a lot of people over the weeks get great results in RTTs for that reason, right? So I'm not saying you go to a GT and do okay. You're probably going to run into 2 Eldar players and then a Gene Stealer player and then a Custo player and then a Knight, and you're going to be like, okay, that wasn't a great day. But if you go to a RTT, you still might hit those matchups, but they might not be as potent as lists, or you might be someone that you practice against even. So we strongly suggest you go to RTTs as a whole anyways, and we want to promote that. So if you ever do, get some success with you, right? What's going on? There's some chats because I'm over here.
We're gonna hit some chats. Big Mek, Brandon, Truck, and Squig Hogs with 2 CP is a rack or mortals between tank shock, bomb squigs, and grenades.
Oh, goodness. For like what point? For like nothing, right? Yeah, like he's saying, you're using the units that are already kind of existing, doing a completely different role, like the truck, right? Just chilling. And then you're like, hold on, guys, let me throw all these mortals into you. And that's exactly what it is. Because we know what we want to do with a strat. We want to make the wound strat, but as a whole, sometimes it's just like mortal wounds are where it's at, man. Not everybody has feel no pain. So yeah, they're a great job. I appreciate that, Brandon. Always giving some good mech advice. I know he's done that strat every single game, at least twice.
Right. Even if you don't intend on doing this, just communicating it with your opponent could cause them to be a little more conservative.
That's true. They'll start giving too much respect to your trucks, right? Or giving them too much target priority sometimes, right?
Yeah. Aiden Magnus. I've always been a fan of the Burner Boys.
The burner bus.
Burner
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was a typo or...
No, I think he was trying to say he puts them in like a truck and then he just
okay,
flames out of them. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. I get that too, man. Because you're just like, here you go, come right up to you. Yeah. And it can be just so many dice because they're all D6. So yeah, I can get why you love that. And
yeah, we saw a list last week with running 3 trucks with Burner Boys in each.
Yeah. Or I've seen people put them in the squigs or the squig-offs or the gargantuan squig-offs. People do that too. So yeah, I love that.
Joel Atkins zooming in on the background like some sneaky gitz.
Like some sneaky gitz. Right? You seen that? I was like, what is that? He was showing us a completely different model, and we're like, what's on your table? Like, oh, nosy. Yeah, okay, so my bad. People are gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna clean my tables off before I send these guys pictures, man. My bad. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. All right, but you know what? I'm not mad about it because whatever the other model was kind of funny looking.
Yeah, right. I want to see.
It looked like a Monster Inc. It looked like a Monster Inc. orc. You know, I'm like, what is that? So it distracted me. I had to look at it.
He also says, I like running 2 battle wagons. The last game, those and my squigs.
There we go. Squish. Maybe a squish or squig. It can be squig off. Maybe either one. Be either one. It makes sense. Battle wagon, squig off. Those would all be good options. And there's squish. I don't know. And my I don't know what you mean by your squish. Because we don't squish any. Yeah, he meant squig for sure. The only thing we've been squishing are grot heads and them oomies. All right, sorry, I don't know where that came from.
He's been running 2 battle wagons with limited success. The last game, those and my Squig Hog boys were about the only models left at Churn 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least you're trying them because I tried them too, and like you said, I had limited success. Does take a big spot in the field, but you know, it's a pretty great model. And if trucks ever do go up, they become more prevalent. But yeah, I mean, thanks for feedback.
And then he says that truck cray.
Anything that Dagger's done for the most part is pretty crazy, guys, right? So Daggers, that's amazing. You should definitely not have white stuff in the background because I want to be sneaky and look at the other stuff on your table because I'm like that. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. What was it? Oh, and this is a new get right here. We're kind of on chat. Thank you guys. Thank y'all for the bit of feedback. Brandon, Bruce, everybody involved.
Snazbaggin.
Oh, and I think he's one of our newer gits, and he's saving models out here, finding these scrap jets. And yeah, like we said, we like to show everything, and he's going straight into the mortal wounds on that one. You know what he's going for, and he's going for purple, which he's a green skin after me own green hawk because I love purple, and that's how my models are painted too, is purple. So of course he automatically gets a little bit of my love. So yeah, and what is this, my boy right here?
All right.
Oh, and he's a new Moppa's too new also. I haven't too much talking, but he's been posting his pictures of his progress of his purple sneaky gits. He didn't go full tilt with his army because you can see the rest of his models in the background are more of the correct color scheme. But this is a perfect picture. We're gonna start just zooming in on all the wrong things. Talking about the you see I'm talking about the commandos, and David immediately starts zooming into some random thing in the background. I wasn't talking about that. You guys seen that? And he David, I'm like, commandos looking purple. David's like, what is?
Joe already exposed us, so might as well just be the
gonna. All right, if that's the case, yeah, do that again. Do it again, because that right there, that rider and that squig in the background.
Which one back here?
Yeah, where's his grot? I just wanted to say that. There's the grot in the back. I know what you're looking at, and that is. Oh, I like his head. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, and his nostril face out here looking like he got no nose. And do you put a claw in his hand? Because I have that same model used for my big War Boss and Mega Armor, right? Yeah. But I put different bits. Ooh, I like that claw hand he did there. Probably for the saws or something. Hold on, I want to be nosy in the background some more. Oh, now you want to look at the commandos? Yeah. You see, now you want to look at the commandos. Now I start getting nosy too. Fine, whatever, dude.
Well, it's the best focus. So.
And they look way better than like helmets and everything. Look at that. Like he didn't oversaturate them the purple. You right? Not like cartoonish. He really did a good job on making them look clean. Still metallic edging on that. Yeah, that's clean. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, actually, good job zooming in on that. And right here, look at zooming on that knob belly again. And that sounds weird, right? The knob belly. Look at that. Come on. Who does not everybody does the buckle. I know some of you guys out there and you're like, man, Orks got a lot of buckles. I'll be ignoring them. That's me. But that was a great job. He's been doing a great job here. Right, awesome. These commandos are freaking cool. I love the kit though as a whole, right? And in the background, he has all the different colored death copters looking like Power Rangers. But no, that's the way of the WAAAGH, guys. It's a conglomeration of clans. So here's a proper WAAAGH, you know. So pretty much what I'm saying is the Power Rangers were orcs. That's what I'm saying. All right.
And there's one more picture. Maybe we can get some sneak peeks.
All right, let's see what there'll be more nosiness here. No, I'm just kidding. Let's got more picture, guys. Don't worry. I'm not sitting here going to be staring at everybody's stuff all day.
More angles here.
Oh, and a little cleared up in the background for more for our sneaking. Oh, that's a funky boy. Look at that. He be looking like he came from AOS. You don't. He come from AOS. You end up looking like that. All right. When then they jump through the warp on accident. What else he got? Hey, we're supposed to be looking at his commandos. Why are you zooming into the background right away? So hilarious.
Oh,
look at that. Love that, dude. He did such a great job with like that. It looks really just straight up like a metal skull mask over his face.
He made it look like matte.
Yes, there we go. That's the proper wording for that. He did it for that one on the left too with the rocket. Look at that. Oh,
that's sick. I wish I could paint like that.
God, I know, right? Dude. Message me directly, tell me how you did that, because I swear I suck. I need to get that matte color, and people always tell me, and I always mess it up every time. The closest I ever got my Killa cans. Who else we got there? That's good. Bullets camp. What are you laughing at me?
No, I mean we've been giving him so much credit. I mean, are these guys? What are they standing on? They look like cookies, coconut cookies, dude.
All right, now you're trying to take away credit from him. Well,
they look good. I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm gonna fight you. All right, let's go. Just kidding. Oh, what else is there? Oh, the breacher guy looks great. That's what I was gonna say before David started making me hungry. Okay. Ooh, look at that, dude. Those masks have been, I think, overlooked by me because I'm looking at these masks. I'm like, oh, that looks freaking sick. In reality, I think I just didn't paint mine always clean enough to really enjoy that. I appreciate that awesome like welding mask / gas mask. Yeah. I think great job, dude, on emphasizing how cool those guys are. I've seen a lot of cool painted ones, but just want to say I appreciate how it's like a subtle purple because mine are purple too. So I think yours look better than mine. So awesome.
Oh, he's got his.
David's sneaking in the background. You seen that? Yeah, just so you know, guys, if you ever, we're just gonna look at everything that you shot in the picture, right? If your hand's there, David's gonna zoom in on your fingernail, right? All right, just kidding.
I was actually gonna point out.
Yeah, I knew, right? I knew you were going to. Snagger's tattoo. David was like, I see that. I'm like, don't do it. All right.
But this orc terrain is dope.
Yeah, it's great. Straight up, he painted that kill team. It looks like orc terrain that I still have not painted. I have it. I didn't paint it though because I'm a lazy gip sometimes. What are some of the? You're good. We hit everything on the.
Oh, no, we got more.
Oh, he still put that. I like those storm boys he put up in there. Yeah. Oh, there's one Kit Bash model I really want to see up there. Yes. Now I'm glad you have Zagstruck. Some people really just don't have Zagstruck right now.
That's sick. That barrel he's jumping on.
Something different, right? Yeah. Instead of like always the same things that people are just like.
Oh, that's another model behind it. For a second, I thought that model had two heads.
Okay. They was all confused by it.
I like how he made this eye like glossy and like
it's missing.
Yeah, it's either missing or you can't see out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a blind eye. These are just really good sculpts, by the way. They're really big though, and that's fine though because they're beautiful. I just want to say Storm Boys. If you don't own Storm Boys, no, these are Storm Boys. Oh, okay. They're just great models in my opinion. Like how much detail they put, like bandanas. They put the bomber jackets on them. Each jetpack's kind of weird. They got the grots that stick out of their I don't know stuff about jet engines, the turbine. They have grots sticking out the turbines and stuff, so it's really cool. And then here,
detail you put in this hat.
Excellent. This guy is such an underrated model. Like people don't like to give him love. I like to give him love for no reason all the time, which I'll do right now. This guy is cool and he does slap pretty well in the game, but as a whole, if he comes down like 10 points, I'll run him. Yeah, these are great models. Great job.
You got nothing on this grot.
The ground, the turbine. That's what I'm saying. And mine, man. No, I just need some goggles. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got here for us? Oh, what is this? Get out here.
We're exposed.
Oh, and there's the war boss right there. I mean the knob. Sorry, the knob. Yeah. Looking thick.
Yeah, these are beautiful models.
Great models. Great. Excellent. I like that. Okay, hold on. Wait. Can you zoom in the back? No, just kidding. You zoom in the background? No, just kidding. Those are just 40K stuff. Let's see what books you got. Zoom in on that. So actually, there's a package right there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't zoom in on that. Sorry, it's a joke, guys. It's a joke. Because now I know people are going to make fun of us now at this point. All right. Did he show that? Or no? Is this new?
No,
I didn't even notice. Oh, cool. I didn't even see that WAAAGH put this up. I think that's WAAAGH, or who's that? Oh, no, it's not. There's a Big Wiz.
Big Wizard.
Yeah. And here we go. Purple and orange. That's my color scheme right there. Love that. Thick. That's a thick warbot. Look at the old power claw. Another that says old stand because I have that model too. But I think it does a great job making him look like he has a giant power claw. And you kept his banner and upgraded it, which is cool. Because I know I always mess up my knob poles. My boss poles.
Yeah, he made all these colors work. Good job.
Mm-hmm. What was the?
There's another angle.
Who was that? Yeah, the other angle. I see. Notice that. Yeah. Thank you for anyone's there, guys, and tell me what you guys are interested in discussing today. I'll try and leave it a little open. What I wanted to say is, oh wait, no.
Nothing.
Oh, okay, sorry. What I wanted to say is I appreciate y'all being here, but feel free to give me some pushback or some questions on here before I just start ranting again. Even though I really could do that as well.
Yeah, or let us know what you guys are hobbying on.
So I've been hearing like people discuss the knobs and the Warboss on bike. If you still are not sold on that, I'd like to say that I enjoy that mix up, and it's almost acting like another Squig Hog Boy unit in some ways, right? So keep that in mind that if you're not sold, give it a try on that. And the Lootas, like I said earlier, buggies have been getting their shine finally. It's surprisingly, it's the shock jump dragster a little more than the custom booster blaster. So if you want that for this is just a 3. Are you gonna put that? The shock jump dragster is something more just like, it's weird because it'll threaten your enemy that you might kill somebody that sucks, one of their characters. But in reality, you're just trying to get in the backfield overall, or steal an objective quickly and throw that unit away. So I'm not exactly surprised because buggies are only 10 more points than the biker unit. But then that being said, Storm Boys are only 10 points less than the biker unit. So I can get why people weren't quick to try to jump into those. And this is just a 3D printed truck that was being shared by WAAAGH for everybody. Yeah. In case people were wondering, because they were talking about trucks and such. I think it looks pretty cool and pretty solid.
Yeah, like this. It's got the whole like 1960s Ford truck kind of look.
Yeah, and it's not trying too hard to like knock off from the other vehicle on our actual truck. It just tried to do the front correctly. Doesn't try to go all crazy and ridiculous. It's like, look, I'm just a truck. That's all I'm trying to be. Nothing crazy. And this is what I really wanted to look at.
This one?
Yeah. The Wizard put this up too.
Big Wizard?
No, this is Big Wizard put up. And he called this Mork Tyson. This is Mork Tyson. I really appreciated this model when he put it up. I started laughing when I was at work when I seen this. I don't know where you got those outrageous hands and fists, but that's fantastic. He's like, I'm gonna make a war boss that just knocks people out.
Yeah, he looks ready to crump.
Yeah, I like that he's Mork Tyson. That's an awesome name. And he painted it to kind of make fun of his typical rival, which is a Crimson Fist player, I believe. And how he did that was pretty much using his head as a trophy. There we go. That's sick. Awesome. Nice. I love when people do that, when they have like a solid matchup with other people they have regularly play against, and then they're like, I'm gonna take bits of you and use it as a trophy. Like, damn, man, make that rivalry painful. Every time you beat him, just kind of flex your war boss like this. Like, I just crumped him. And then here's another, and you did a great job, by the way, on this one. That was really original. I appreciate those fists. You can tell us where you got them fists. It's hilarious.
This one's from Domcat.
Domcat. You should show us. Yeah, he showed us earlier too, but different stuff. But this is really cool. He's showing us his Squig. Love that blue. That's a different kind of blue I haven't seen on that guy.
Look at the mouth. I like how he did that too.
So I can see he's starting with this like a zenithal highlight right off the rip. I didn't always do that, but you can see it's really paying off here in this when he's painting right now, especially with that lighter blue. Right, it's really shining through in certain parts of the model, and then other parts are staying dull, which is really giving him more of that realistic look of like a hide. You know, because the hide's going to be like parts of it are going to be peeling off and being torn off and destroyed and cracked. So there would be different pitches and shades based off that too. So I like that. And David's going to zoom in again. See what I mean? No, I'm just kidding.
of making the tongue look rough.
Yeah.
Got some texture to it.
And I like this. Is there more? Is there, from a development? I think he shared a couple more, but I think he's in. This is like a developing project for him.
This is another view.
No, it's not different.
Nope.
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh, he says only base remains.
Hmm. Oh, it is different. He has his clothes is a little bit more done. Yeah, his hide's becoming done now. His shoulder. Oh, okay. That's what I meant. Sorry, his progress. But yeah, here we go. As he started to evolve, he goes, I'm gonna make his hide blue, obviously, because if he's killed some of the squigs, he's carrying some of their skin, their hide on their shoulder. So yeah, this is very cool. Now zoom in that cup right there so I can see the reflection. Because I'm just kidding. I just wanted to keep saying that up. Yeah, it's funny. Right. I don't know. I have no idea where that is. Yeah, you can tell us where Tomcat. I don't know. It looks like it's a Guinness though. I don't know if that is, but that's what it looks like. That's awesome. Drinking Guinness and then painting. Drinking Guinness and painting, dude. What an orc. You're like, whoa. No, what the heck? David Steele. Yeah. So it was a great job. I think that was, is there any more in there? I didn't check because I don't remember. There's a couple.
The Savage Man.
Okay, we'll get one more. I think there's the last one, right? For the last one for the hobbies, guys. And then we'll come back and see what you guys yelled at me for because I hope you guys are yelling at me in chat. I like when you guys yell. It's hilarious. Oh, and I'm a fan. Yes, a Morkanaut. Last week we had the Gorkanaut. Someone posted a Gorkanaut. That was cool. I'm a fan of the Mork. I know some of you guys are haters. Morkanaut didn't make it to my list because he's 350 points, and then you pay for the mech. It's like 400 points almost for your gun. It's like, nah, I didn't include him because I don't want to give you guys false hope. GW needs to calm down. But yeah, I like him as a model. I'm just saying. I'm glad you painted him. He looks great. Just obviously I got my feels when I thought about him shooting right now. So yeah, that's it for the sharing of the hobby progress pictures, guys. What are you guys hobbying on? What are some new ideas, some lists? How many of you guys are going out to RTTs? Give you guys some shout outs. I think a couple of you guys said you're going to RTTs. Me personally, I think I missed the last sign up date for the one for next month, but I'm already looking at those so I can start getting into some RTTs hopefully. And then I'll be doing some of them probably with Christian, as you guys know, Christian, our little local world leader / Necron. Is there any chats? Sorry,
Joel just admiring the post, the hobby, the sculpts that people have been working on.
That's cool.
Says Mork Tyson is great. Yes, he is. And then the Sav Master says, "I'll post more of the Morkanaut when he's finished."
Oh, there you go. That's who. That's okay. That's who Sav Man. That's who you are. Because sometimes I don't know who it is, you guys, because I don't know your Discord names to your YouTube names. So now I'm gonna creep Sav Master. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah.
Well, now we know that Sav is short for savage.
So guys, one little combo I wanted to bring up. Hold on, let me look this up. You can keep David if you want to fill up the void real quick while I get lost in my sauce real quick.
But yeah, and for anyone that joined late, we will cut our segment in the beginning. It was about 45 minutes, so it's easier for you guys to digest and listen to the information that we're trying to share. Like Eddie said, we're not the authority here. We're learning as a WAAAGH community together. And shooting, especially in this edition, shooting is a pivotal part of the game now. Fighting isn't how it used to be. I don't think you can strictly rely on it. So you need just that long range threat. And with the Lootas having 48-inch range, you're gonna outrange a lot of enemies with that. Like there's a good chance that your Lootas can survive, benefit from that +1 hit for the heavy keyword. And they're only 55 points. So is someone really going to want to shoot at them? There's a good chance they survive. What are you pulling up?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about, we all know that Zadrog, Wartsnaga, Grots aren't T5 anymore. Some people are getting a little sad. Hey, I don't have my turn 1 charging and distraction, my speed bump unit. Well, I was talking to a friend, David. Shout out to David, Dayboyd. New to Discord. He was talking about some little combo I thought was fun. So he decided, hey, I still want to do some turn 1 charges hypothetically. So he went out there and he said, I'm going to do 20 boys, a wall banner, use the enhancement of follow me lads, Use here we go strat to add 2+ to the movement. So if you're following, you've added 2 with the enhancement. So you're moving 8, and you added another 2 because of the strat. So you're moving 10, right? The wall banner allows you to declare a wall. So now you get to advance and charge. You already have +2 to your charge because of, like you said, the strat. The strat already gives you that. And then you get the D6 from the advance plus the 2 D6 from the charge. So it's averaging somewhere around 22 inches of threat range with this 20-man unit of boys, Knob with wall banner. And this is turn 1. And you're not declaring a wall for your whole army, guys. This is just a speed bump that you're going to come forward onto people, get it all up in their lines, get mucking up, get stuck in. You're going to have a 5-up invuln because it's acting as a wall. These boys are coming in with strength 5, so they're 240 points. You really don't need the war boss. I think the war boss kind of puts it over the top if that's your next question. Because that's the question I kind of started thinking about too. Do I want a war boss in this package? Nah, it kind of makes it too expensive for the fact that you know it's about to die. And why I like it a little better than maybe like a unit of commandos that's ignoring Overwatch is because it's 20 boys. It's just filling up the whole board, touching everything, and it's giving you more volume of attack, right? And the wall banner is putting them up to the strength 5 and then an innate 5-up invuln. Compared to just the commandos are getting like, I think it's only in range to get that 5-up invuln, right? So you're really just bringing them to avoid Overwatch. And then you're paying for Snick Rot, and you're hoping he precisions someone's out. So it's a different idea. It's still like a different turn 1 kind of charge, but I'm a bit more in favor of this one now. Is it as reliable? Not necessarily, but like we said, certain missions, certain matchups, if you know you're playing against something that really doesn't want to be turn 1 charge, but you don't want to throw away your WAAAGH, right? Because the other ways that people think about doing this is with bikers, right? Storm boys, maybe if you can attempt to. People try to think like grots, I'm going to use my wall turn 1 and try to get a turn 1 charge with the war boss on bike. It's like, in reality, you don't want to throw away your wall that early in the game most of the time. So this is a really interesting, unique way. So I just wanted to bring that up randomly in conversation because I talk about it in Discord, and we'll probably talk about it more when we talk about turn 1 pressure. We'll make videos for other things as well. Just I want to throw this out in the ether so we can just get it talking about right now and in the chat, possibly.
Yeah, it's a real cool idea. I like it.
240 points.
240 points. And even if your opponent, repositions and doesn't really give you something you want that first turn, just the threat of it, just that they have to think and reposition how they deploy.
Yep.
You can use that late game after you've already used your overall wall.
Yep. So I just wanted to bring that up in there as well, guys, because like I said, we're just filling it up. Was there anything? No. Okay. That's all good. So how long?
I think.
I mean, I think we could chill or stop, or I mean, as a whole, because like we said, guys, you were just in a hobby and stream because I just want to talk about put the shooting video up out there, maybe cover some topics, leave some room for conversation. Because talking to you guys, we learned a lot. Maybe you guys give some feedback. I wanted to say also that they're doing the World Teams tournament, right? Or what the teams events is going on right now.
Teams events,
and right there, guys, we've seen a lot of Orc players actually at this World Team events. I was just gonna say that as a whole. So there's been some lists. I know Brad Chester took some Orcs. He took a pretty typical with a lot of characters. That could be something we discuss more on Wednesday, right? Unless you guys really want to talk about it now, but I just throwing it out in the ether so you guys can be aware of. We're gonna be talking about that a little bit just to see. We know it's a team tournament; it's a little different. But as a whole, it was nice to see that people felt confident enough to take them to teams and actually try to win, because Orcs do go good into some armies. Because to just say I have a lot of bodies, take over the board and play the secondary mission and the prime mission very well, only certain armies that can really deal with us reliably. And at the most part, those are the S tier armies. And in a team tournament, in most team tournaments, you can't just spam the same S tier army throughout your whole team. So in that sense, Orcs start kind of beating up all the other kind of upper mid-tier factions. So it was pretty cool to see him bring that. I know I'm personally looking forward to bringing my Orcs to events, because in our meta we have like demon players, we have Space Marines, we have World Eaters, a lot of Necrons. These are all things that I think I can kind of handle for the most part. So I'm looking forward to getting that on the table too. It's more of just refining. Am I going to try to bring the reliable Squiggies list, or am I going to bring the kind of MSU truck spam list? Trying to find that balance, It seems like a lot of people just go straight to MSU, or the squigs, I feel like there might be something in between, and that's why I wanted to cover some shooting today and such, right? So yeah, is there anybody know that we want to discuss anything? What was that? I'll pay more of the Morkanite. That was funny, dude. I was just in my head, guys, and I was thinking about the Morkanite. I'm like, dude, the Morkanite's a 150. Then you pay for the mech. I'm like 400 points, almost 400 points to just shoot with this one guy. Like, in reality, we all know the kill tank is what's most likely going to be one of your better shooting units, guys. I didn't throw that directly on there because a lot of people don't have, kill tanks, right? If you're trying to supplement your orc shooting list, you're not gonna be like, I guess I'm gonna bring a kill tank for supporting my orc shooting. More or less than not, if you brought a kill tank, that is your list. So that it's not that went over my head. Is just that's not supplementing your shooting. That's your list being you're supplementing the kill tank with other stuff, right? So that still would apply for the stuff we were talking about right now. It was just funny to think about. Kill tank has such a great profile for shooting. Oh, and you know what? Shout out to the Grot Mega Tanks, not the Grot Tanks, which are the little ones for 150 points, Forge World. No, the Grot Mega Tanks. So maybe if you could pull that up, David, real quick, since I forgot to shout it out. If that wouldn't be hard. Just Grot Mega Tanks. As a it would be hard to pull up the Grot Mega Tanks. Then I will pull up. Okay, I mean that's true because it's in the index one. So I'm gonna read the Grot Mega Tanks because that's actually I don't know. I know that's why I'm gonna read it. No, I didn't. No, that's not what I said. So I should have mentioned this earlier, guys. The Grot Mega Tank. It kind of just slipped mine a little bit, but also because a lot of people don't have that. But I guess you can get bashin whenever you want, right? So let's go over the Grot Mega Tanks. Oh, that was a Grot tank. Wrong data sheet. It's easy to get them messed up. So remember, guys, there's Grot tanks and there's Grot Mega Tank. One is 3 small models, and the other one is one kind of big model. So Grot Mega Tank is movement 8, T9, 3-up save, 12 wounds, leadership 8, 4 OC. It gets 2 different range weapons. You can swap them both for rockets, which is what I suggest. That way you have 2 different rocket platforms. Each one of those will be blast, D3 twin. Its melee profile is 6 attack. Nothing to kind of really write home about. Heading on 4, strength 4. And its ability is bizarrely resilient. Each time an attack targets this model, worsen the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So it has armor of contempt as its ability.
How many points is this unit?
110.
For 1?
For 1. So this is another unit that's more of an honorable mention, right? It's tougher than a truck, more like a mega truck or mega track. If you guys know what that is a Forge World model. And durability, it does give you some somewhat more reliable rockets since they're twin linked. And it's hitting on 4s because it's a Grot shooting at it. So like we said, it's like a different alternative to kind of the Killa cans. You know what I'm saying? Right. So more people don't have these, but as we talk about, we showed on Discord, people are kit bashing their own stuff up. If you want to kit bash one of these up, it's 110 points. It's somewhere weird, 40 foot less points than a Killa can. The only thing is the Killa can, you get a couple more shots, but you don't get to re-roll the wounds. Yeah, and you don't get the combat. So that's one thing right there. Just wanted to pull that up. And obviously it's a different toughness variable, right? But if you're running a bunch of trucks, you can easily start fitting these guys in those lanes too.
All right, Sandor checking in. He says, Konichi. Whoa.
Konichi. Whoa. That was awesome.
Joe Adkins. So you think Lootas or mech guns are better for the points?
That's the thing, like I said, is almost your meta. If you're going against like other big infantry armies, you're just kind of going to get value from picking off a couple 2-wound models as you can. But if you're going to stuff that people have these tanks or stuff that you Tyrannid monsters, high toughness models, and you're willing to try to kind of trade your mech guns, because that's what's going to happen. When you get D6 shots, you're bound to roll some 1s, guys. So you are going to actually taking some hazardous wounds here. Don't go into thinking like, I'm not going to hit these. There's a chance you will, because you're only really re-rolling those 1s when you're hitting a big unit. So, yeah, I would just say if it's really you're going to the high value targets, the mech guns, if it's like you're going against a lot of 2-wound infantry and stuff you want to chip down, maybe you want to do that, especially if you have like the indirect buggies, or any kind of other damage to shooting. You want that to kind of compound, help chip off the same model, same kind of profiles. So that's what it is. I'd say both are totally viable. Just consider what you're going into and your terrain, right? Because I could tell you in my meta, I can't get good line of sight necessarily with the mech guns all the time. And if I do, they're taking up the road that I want to move my cavalry type units or trucks through. You know what I'm saying? And kind of position there. I'd rather almost put Lootas just in a building because they're out of the way of the other stuff. See, so that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. That doesn't mean I'm right, because there's plenty of other tables where people are using player place terrain and they use a mech gun because they can set up the pocket in the firing lane over here on the right out of their way. It's also screening. Boom, they're good, right? So it's really based off terrain and your matchup, but both is why I wanted to present them. So thank you for the question, because that is why we asked them. Yeah?
Yeah.
So what, we think we're good? Moving caller for tonight? Yeah, so I think today, guys, we'll make it a little shorter. Maybe people will be able to ingest it more. One thing feedback we've been getting is sometimes we're super long, and then people are like, I'm not sure if I can ingest that, and they get scared to kind of give it a try. So a couple of these videos we're going to make shorter. But as a whole, guys, are we going to tease what's happening for Sunday, or are we going to say anything? Okay, Dave, we'll let you do that. But another thing that I've been doing is I've been getting my games in for combat patrol, guys, and I'm just going to say it now. We're going to be doing that as our first attempt at battle reports. They're going to be combat patrols so that people can literally see how orc combat patrols do against everybody. Because we're going to try to hit almost pretty much every combat patrol. Of course, some Space Marine variations, you know, we're going to be like, this is a Blood Angel, but we got Imperial fists that look like Blood Angels, you know. But the whole point is we're going to be going through the enemy combat patrols, getting orcs facing up against them. We're going to just show that. And that's going to be pretty sick. So that's our next idea for a different kind of content. And then, David, what did you want to show them?
Yeah, guys, and be on the lookout for Sunday evening. We're gonna release a new short series that we want to test the waters with. We're very excited to share it with you guys. We think you guys will like it, and you know, if we get the good feedback, we'll keep doing them. And it's something that we can keep releasing for a very long time, because yeah, it's inspired from multiple ideas as well, and I think you guys will really appreciate it.
And the idea is, like we said, it's not just about, hey, we're here to talk about the meta. We're doing that now because like we're getting off our feet. It applies to everybody. That everything's still new. But once things start to develop, we're going to still be talking about other things and have other forms of content that we want anybody to ingest and enjoy when talking about us and dealing with us, which some of that's going to be lore. I've been looking into more lore books, and I already have like a list of books I kind of want to put out there, because for some reason nobody ever answers my questions when I talk about orc books, which is fine, because you guys probably don't read anyways. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, and so I see they ever said it, and stuff like that. So I want to talk about lore. I want to show some painted stuff. That's why I like to show painted things on here, because I'm not a great painter. Overall, it's about the orc community and enjoying our faction and the hobby in every way, not just, hey, this is what's meta and this is what you need to take to win. We do like talking about that too, but if that's all you ever wanted to hear about, you would just listen to Art of War and be a member and have one of them as your coach. And that's clearly not the case if you're here. So we want to hit everything that you could possibly like. And that's, you know, we want there to be shorts, see some fun matchups, see some fun battle, even the combat patrols. And then from there, you'll see how I do at RTTs, because that's something I'm going to be doing, like tournament reviews and such like that. So yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. Is there any more comment? Anybody that came through?
Edkin says, nice, that's cool. Been wanting to check out Combat Patrol. Yeah, Combat Patrol is really cool. If you've been playing previous editions, GW's come out with, for the smaller scale games, you know, Kill Team. And the thing about Kill Teams, you had to learn a different set of rules to play it. And, you know, bouncing between that and 40K, you could get the rules confused. What's really cool about Combat Patrol, it's a good gateway to the 40K. So, you know, that confusion, having to learn another set of rules isn't there. And it's good for especially beginners. If you want to get your friends into it, all they got to do is buy that Combat Patrol box and they can start playing right off the bat.
And what it is you're still using a lot of the same rules and skills, like resource management and your movement. That's important. Trying to get your secondaries done. And that's kind of flexing those muscles, getting it in during the week, especially if you don't have a lot of time. Instead of waiting 3 weeks to play your next game of 2K, get into Combat Patrol. You can still get a little flavor of that, still use a little bit of some of your resources. Remember how it is to use CP and roll some dice. It actually is pretty fun. I was impressed because I generally only ever played 2K games. I didn't even mess around with 1K games. I hardly even mess around with 1,500 point games. But they did Combat Patrol pretty well. So if you haven't tried it and you maybe that's all you have time for in your local store. You want to just keep that in your car, nice little 500-point army of combat patrol. I do recommend it. And the orc one is pretty solid, you know? And you finally get to use death copters. You're not going to use them anyway in 2K. Or the death dread, you know, no offense. You might, but you're not, you know, you don't get as much satisfaction as you could in combat patrol, where both of them are kind of useful to an extent. So that's another thing that's fun too. Like I'm like, yeah, my death dread, my painted super nice one. I'm using you every game, right? And he ends up being the MVP sometimes. I'm like, yeah. So it's just a different experience, and that's what we're about, right? Don't limit yourself to I have to play the super big games. That's all I'm here for. No, guys, just hey, trust me, just give it a shot. Just like some people don't like painting when you first start the hobby, and all of a sudden they get really obsessed into painting, or they become really excellent painters. You know, just be open-minded to playing other variations of the same game that we all enjoy.
Right, like you were saying, combat patrol is a good way to keep them choppers sharp. Keeps your skills and just the way of the mindset you have to play 40K. You know, making sure your movement's right, your screening, thinking about scoring objectives and secondaries.
Yeah,
it's a good in between.
I've been showing new friends of mine in the game that knew about 9th edition, but it confused them because too much was going on. And then I had them play combat patrol, and they were like, "Oh, I actually kind of understand this. This is kind of fun." So yeah, I'm getting real life examples from that too.
Joel also says, "More content,
more wall content." Exactly. We need more wall. We need more destruction. We need more crumping. We need more violence. You know, and I need someone to talk to me about a book. I'm sick of you asking. No, I'm just kidding.
Funny enough, your prayers have been answered.
What?
The Sav Master. I enjoyed the Beast Arises series of books, though that's Warhammer 30K or so.
Yeah. All right. You know, that's going to give you I'll give you 1-2 for that one, because that is right. And that I did enjoy that too, because it's very orky. There's a lot going on. And really, I think if you start with that and then you go into more of the modern orc books, that are more written recently from GW, you can see how they drastically kind of changed how they perceive orcs, or how they're allowing the Imperium to perceive orcs, or they're making it a twist where they're allowing you to think the same way they did during those old 30K books, and then they give you the orcs kind of response, or how the orcs interpret that, like, oh, it's actually pretty easy to trick Umis because they never expect you to lie, like stuff like that, because humans think orcs are so stupid that they can't set up a trap. And then orcs are like, man, humans are stupid. They never see a trap coming. So it's kind of like funny how the newer books kind of bounce off that 30K experience you get. So if you do listen to both, that could be the cool part.
All right. Sandor providing some feedback from playing combat patrol himself.
There we go. Let's hear it.
Our combat patrol is pretty stacked. Maybe OP. That Death Dread kills everything and doesn't die too much. Deep striking, the Death Coptas, it was like overkill in almost every game I played of 10+.
Yeah, even if you run the copters around the field, there's just some armies that can't deal with it. The only box that I ever dealt with that ran into that could kind of deal with that, which happened to me in my first game, and I will say I messed up because I did leave the war boss in the unit. So my bad, I sucked my first game. But the point is, the Redemptive Dreadnought was the only thing that was like, your Death Dread is not impressive. So that's the only. Other than that, you're 100% right. Every other box, the Death Dread's kind of a bully on the field because he can just punch through all the other models. His 2-up armor save actually feels really good. His T9 feels really good. He gets 1 rocket, well, sometimes kind of funny. And the Death Cop, the speed comes into play. So yeah, he's right. It does feel pretty strong. I'm gonna not say OP, but I bet you in some matchups, like when I play Tyranids, it feels OP because you can possibly just run them over. So yeah. Is that all for that? Okay, well, I appreciate your gits and your green skins. I look forward to coming out with more content, getting more practice games in, preparing for the tournaments, getting these bat reports in, getting the shorts in that we kind of filmed and put together too, because that was kind of fun. So all of this is hopefully to make it better for you guys. And like we said, we're going to upgrade our computers as well so we can get better everything when it has to do with the stream too. So thanks for that.
We want to make sure we give you good quality content.
Not mute myself.
That is in the works.
Yeah, not mute myself again. All right. Well, that being said, I think we're good. We're good. Yeah. All right. But there's always one thing to remember. Don't cross the wall, because we knock your teeth out.